Hi, my fellow rioters. I hosted a mini class this morning and have had a couple requests for a recap. So I can go over just a couple of the different pieces for those of you who were not able to tune in this morning with me. So, what I'm going to do is just briefly go over some of my points that I touched on for boosters. Boosters are one of my favorite pieces of the Faction 8 line because it allows us to customize our results and really gives us full creative freedom when we're enhancing or neutralizing. The formula pattern that I've created for this is just something that I found that works for me behind the chair, so this is just to me. And I'm going to go ahead and share that with you guys, so if you find some helpful pieces with it, then hopefully when we're back in the salons, you can utilize it as well. The formulas that I'm going to share with you are based on when we're enhancing or neutralizing. These are not gray coverage formulas. They're enhancing or neutralizing so that you can get the most intensity or the most neutralization out of your color formulas and also being able to incorporate the boosters into them. One of the things that I find the most helpful when I'm looking at boosters is really understanding the amount of pigment that's in them before we try to figure out how to put it in a formula. So I created different swatches at the different booster pieces, different levels, because until you can really visually see how much is in there, it makes it difficult to know how much to put in to a standard formula. With a lot of the formulas that I see, I added a dash or a dot or a ribbon or a booger of booster into my formula. And while the boosters are intense, they're not that intense that like a half a dot is really going to neutralize a full formula that has orange in it, that you're trying to really get that orange out of the hair. Or a half a ribbon isn't going to make a red scream in a standard formula. So this is really just a way to kind of visually understand the boosters. And then I have a couple formulas that make them easy for me to know how I'm using them and to be able to duplicate them on my guests the next time they come in, or be able to tweak the formula as needed. So I really am looking today at more of the reds, so the -66 and the -11. So that way you can kind of see the difference on both spectrums, as one is an enhancement and one is a neutralize. So in the -66, these are just boosters. These are natural level swatches. I have, the first swatch here is actually a 50% salt and pepper gray, but then it is a clean level 10 all the way down to a level 4. So you can really see how much intensity those boosters have just on top of natural hair color. Then I took those same boosters and put them with the -66s. I took them from a level 7 to a level 4. Each of these has 3 different formulas. So if we look at just the 7, we have 3 different formulas with the 7, and you can see they have different tonal values to them. And then let's just look at them as a 5. One of the things that we talked about today in the mini class was that just because you add more of an enhanced color to a formula does not mean it's going to make it brighter. What usually happens is it's going to make it richer. It's going to make it deeper. If you want something to be more vibrant, you're going to need it to be lighter. So if I take and do a straight booster formula on, let's say, a level 5, that is going to get deeper and richer. It's not going to get us brighter. It's going to be deeper. And that's really across the board when we're adding boosters in. Even if you're trying to neutralize at an orange or an orange red, the more blue you put in something, or the more blue-green you put in something, it's really going to take away the reflection of the color and make it very absorbent of light. So it's going to be deeper. It's going to look a little bit darker. When we're talking about neutralization, these are the -11s. So again, 50% salt and pepper, a clean level 10, all the way to a level 4. And you can see at these darker tones, we don't have really any warmth or any reflection left. We have shine, but there's no reflection to the hair. So it's really going to give you a matte finish. Now, the same thing in that series with the Dash 1 series for our ashes. This is with the Dash 11 booster, and let's look at a level 10. These are my 3 different formulas, and you can see the gradient effect that it has. And then when we get down into, let's say, like a level 7, you can also see that they have different colors to them. Now, the reason there are 3 different swatches in there is because I have 3 different formulas. My formulas, it's called Boost Your Riot. That's what I've been playing with it. So Boost Your Riot, and this I know is a little bit difficult to see just because it's in yellow. It's more for an in-person class. But I have 3 different formulas. All of them are created with a base standard 40-gram formula. So if you're going to use a 10-1, it's 40 grams of 10-1. If you're going to use a 7-6, it's going to be 40 grams of 7-6. Then your booster that you're adding in, I have my first one, which I call Little Riot. I'm going to add 10 grams of booster in addition to that formula. Then I have my Boosted Riot, which is going to be 20 grams of my booster added to that formula. Then I also have my Super Riot, which is where I'm adding 30 grams to that formula. All of these I use with either 6 or 10 volume because I'm really not trying to lift too much of the NRP. I don't want to see too much of that. This is really just to enhance and bring out what's already in the color. Or if I have someone that is very, very gold or very, very orange and brassy, I want to neutralize that. So we really want to make sure that we know how much intensity or how much neutralizing we want to add, because that's going to give us our amount that we want to do, whether we want to pick a Little Riot, a Super Riot, or a Boosted Riot to add those extra amounts of booster to our formula. You can also use it by itself, and that's what those original swatches are that I showed you are, that it shows you at a natural level clean 10 all the way down to a 4. This is what you're going to get with just the booster by itself. Now, it's not necessarily going to be something that's going to last for 10 or 12 weeks. This is something that is also going to fade. You're putting a booster in which is heavily pigmented, and the hair is not going to hold it the same as if it was just a permanent color. But you can add it to your permanent colors, and you are going to get some life and longevity out of that. With, I'm sorry, I was getting a phone call. And the joy of being home and hearing the kids outside and all that good stuff. With our boosters, I always just try to give people a heads up that they do shorten the longevity of your color. It's not going to be an 8-week no fade. It is going to fade, and you are going to lose some of that extreme intense color. I still really like being able to add them in and having the creative freedom without necessarily being in the semi-permanent line with our rainbow tones and different things like that, because with the boosters, you don't necessarily have to lift the hair all the way to a clean level 10 to achieve some of those different colors and those intensities. And the way I look at it is when I'm consulting with a guest, if they are showing me pictures of rainbow hair and mermaid hair, then that's really the route I'm going to take, is being able to fully lighten their hair and then add those semi-permanent colors. But if I'm looking at someone that just wants to enhance and create a lot of reflection and intensity in more of a natural tone, that's where I get to play with the boosters and really give them that really rich intensity. It's really up to you and how you're creating and how you're making the most out of your colors. So I look forward to seeing what you create. And if anyone has any questions or would like to dive a little bit further into this, please feel free to reach out, message me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And I will definitely be back on for the rest of the week touching on different topics. So I look forward to connecting with you guys then. And my Instagram has my formula for Boost Your Riots on it. And it also has the Pure Tone swatches that are pictured on Instagram so that you can see those. So if you check back and look at those and then have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I would love to connect with you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll connect soon.